Thank you. Is it on? Okay, perfect. All right, I hope Kevin's not watching. This is going to be bad. But I am very thankful that he wrote down who I was during my introduction so I could remember that. All right, so yes. All right, we can get you two, come on up. Sorry, I should have stayed over here. Are you guys already mic'd up and stuff, ready to go? Okay. You good? You good? Okay. BJ and Molly and I have already talked. So they know that at 30 seconds, Glenn is going to hold up the yellow sign. At 15 seconds, she's going to hold up the pink sign. And when your time's up, she's going to give you that. Okay. And big thank you, Stephen, for doing that as well. I am Christy Morrison. Thank you. It's written here. Moderator for this candidate forum. We are joined today by the Republican primary election candidates, Incumbent Representative Molly Jenkins, and Challenger Cushing City Commissioner BJ Roberson. A map showing the district boundaries is on the screens. Thank you, Stephen. The winner of the primary election will face Democrat Max Burchett in November. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for opening and closing statements. I will ask prepared questions with the candidates alternating going first. They will have 90 seconds to respond to each question. We will begin with an opening statement from Representative Jenkins. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you, Christy. Can everybody hear me well? Yes. Fantastic. I'm going to lead with it. I don't take lobbyist money, and that is because I work for you. My name is Molly Jenkins, and I'm so grateful to be here with you today. I'm sorry I missed it 2 years ago. My dad was in the hospital, and so that was a reasonable reason not to make it. My husband and Brett and I have been married for 21 years, and we have a small ranch. We run a cow-calf operation, and usually have about 30 head of cattle. I am a former educator. I taught in the Mid-Dell District, 8th grade English. I also taught in the Putnam City District, 8th grade English. I taught at UCO and Rose State and at Tinker Air Force Base. I am a real estate broker. However, my license is inactive, and I dissolved my company so there would be no question of impropriety. And the last thing I will let you know is I am committed to working hard for you. I'm one of only 2 who missed no votes this year on the floor. So, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. My name is BJ Roberson. I'm running for the House, District 33. I'm first and foremost a family man. I am married to my beautiful wife, Maria, for the last 18 years. God has blessed us with 4 incredible children between the ages of 13 and 22. I'm a small business owner. I've been in small business pretty much all my adult life in some form or fashion. For the last 12 years, I've been building my own small business, Roberson Properties, based in Cushing, and serving the surrounding area. And our mission with our company is to improve neighborhoods one house at a time and to provide quality housing for Cushing and the surrounding area. I'm also a public servant. I've served on the Cushing City Commission for the past 9 years. For 4 of those years, and still currently, I'm serving as chairman of the Board of Commissioners, which is our mayoral position. And it's been a great experience serving the community, working with citizens and fellow commissioners and businesses, hospitals, schools, organizations to help move our community forward. And if honored to serve District 33, that's the same hard work, results-oriented approach that I'm going to take to the state capitol. So happy to be here with you today and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you. Okay, BJ, we're going to go to you first on this question. State question 832, which is on the June ballot, resulting from an initiative petition, would gradually raise the state minimum wage to $15 an hour in 2029, with subsequent increases tied to the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers with no cap. Do you support or oppose the state question?
Sure. I'm going to vote no on the state question. I'm a strong believer in the free market. I think the free market is the best way to decide the minimum wage for our economy. And also, I think there's going to be, we already know that the cost of living is affecting a lot of people. Everything's very expensive, and if we pass this minimum wage increase, we're going to hurt small businesses. We're going to hurt those at the bottom that are struggling the most. And so, for those reasons, I'm opposed to the state question.
Molly, over to you.
Thank you very much. I am very much opposed to this state question. I find it to be something that will be actually very dangerous for the state of Oklahoma. The fact that it is tied to the index, this is not our index. This deals with the West Coast and the East Coast. So our inflation rate is very different here in Oklahoma than it is on the West Coast and the East Coast. Those numbers are they're going to increase tremendously. What is that going to do for the people who are trying to get, like our college students, for example, trying to get work? They're going to have a hard time because these small businesses, guys, they're going to have to lay people off. That's just how it is. They're going to have to cover that themselves. And when they do, we're going to see a lot of our young college students without work. We're going to see them struggling because they can't get a job. And I am also very concerned about, again, our small businesses. But just everyone is going to feel this. Every single person in this room will feel this. We will likely have a tax increase to cover this. And we will all see the price of goods going up astronomically. It's going to be a bad deal, so I'm a big no on this one.
Thank you. Molly, this will come to you first.
Sure.
The legislature attempted to place several state questions on the August primary runoff ballot, which will likely be dominated by Republican voters. State questions have traditionally been placed on November ballots. Many of the questions would have overturned prior votes by the citizens. Was the legislature shopping for a friendly mix of voters?
Well, I can tell you this, our Senate just refused to meet for the last 3 weeks. They shut down the House, they wouldn't even meet, and I think it had to do primarily with a lot of these state questions. I find that troubling. Just like I said a minute ago, when I show up, I vote. I am one of only 2 who's never missed a vote. I don't care when it is, but the antics that were used in the Senate to make this happen, to push it, basically they just shut it down so that we would not have these on the ballot, and that's not right. If it would have been November, that would have been fine with me. I think the people have an opportunity to speak, and they should have an opportunity to vote on this, on several of the state questions.
Thank you. BJ?
Yeah, I think that any opportunity to get the largest amount of voter turnout and voters deciding on altering our Constitution and voting on a state question is the best for our state. We want to make sure that the citizens have a voice in any potential change or any potential state question. I can speak to, at a municipal level, whether it's city commission or school board elections, when you have those elections on certain dates, the turnout for those is very low. So I think it's a great idea to have that on a November election where you have the most voter turnout and the most citizen input on those issues.
Okay, BJ, this will come to you first. After Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. advocated on the House floor for Medicaid expansion and its importance to his citizens, House Speaker Kyle Hilbert announced Hoskins would not be invited back. Do you agree or disagree with the Speaker's decision?
I disagree with that decision. We need to be proactive in maintaining good relationships with the tribes. They do a lot of great things for our state and communities within our state, from economic development to healthcare to education. We need to nurture those partnerships and engage with the tribes in every way. And we've seen it in our municipalities locally with the tribes that surround us and how they've impacted us in a positive way. He's entitled to his opinion on the Medicaid expansion issue, but that should not be a reason not to invite him back.
Molly?
Well, I hope that we will invite him back. However, I hope that he will refrain from advocating for policies on the House floor. I agree with the Speaker that was kind of uncalled for, the way that he handled it. I was on the floor that day, so I heard it. I was present. I hope that an invitation will be extended to him, but there are limitations to what needs to be said on the floor when you are a guest speaker.
Okay, Molly, this will come to you first. You are both elected officials. Talk about how you solicit and weigh constituent input as you consider your votes.
Excellent question. That's why I don't take lobbyist money, you guys. That is exactly why I don't take lobbyist money, because I work for you. When you take lobbyist money, what you're doing is you're putting that special interest above the people in this room and the people in this district. So I absolutely do listen. I have been very engaged with the people in this district. I can't get to every meeting for every group all the time, but I am constantly on the go, and I am listening to the people in this district. And I will tell you now that my phone number is on every piece of literature I put out there. I encourage you, call me if you have an issue, if you have a concern, if you have a question, if you have a bill idea. Reach out to me. I am accessible.
BJ?
All right. In the digital age we live in, there's a ton of ways to solicit engagement, both in person or whether on the phone or through a computer with citizens. And so in my time in Cushing, which is the 9 years of public service I have to reflect upon, just being engaged and present in the community, attending community events, showing up, listening to people, having an open door policy, making sure that the citizens have your phone number so if they have an issue they can call you and they can engage, and fostering that kind of environment and communication where they know that you're there to help address their needs with anything within the government, and just continue to help ensure that their voice is heard and be responsive.
Okay. BJ, you'll answer this one first. Senate Bill 1778, which has been signed by the governor, reinstates mandatory third grade retention for most students who do not pass a high stakes test. Do you agree with the use of high stakes testing for young students?
I think that intervention is first and foremost the thing that we need to focus on. But at the same time, if there's a child that gets to fourth grade and they can't read proficiently, is that what's best for the interest of that child? So I believe that we need to have these tests in place to make sure that the students are proficient in reading and are set up on a foundation to continue growth in that area and be independent, successful adults that are, and so the focus should be prevention first. If you have an opportunity to have to engage and see that a student early on is not reading proficiently, get them the help they need. Make sure that you engage with parents. Make sure that they have the resources and the attention they need to work on correcting that reading deficiency. And then at that point, if you've done all those things and you still can't pass the test, then maybe it's in their best interest to hold them back and continue to work on that rather than just pass them along. So I understand the concern with high stakes testing, but I also believe that there's a lot of things in place to allow for early intervention to make sure that we're connecting with those students before that testing to make sure that they're set up for success.
Molly?
Thank you for the question. As a former English teacher, this is something that is very important to me. I'm also on the education committee. We had a mirror bill for this that went along with the Mississippi Miracle in 2011. It was almost identical in nature. And then we changed that bill. We pulled the retention portion out of the bill. Consequently, Mississippi scores, they went down to number 5. We're still very high ranked on as far as our education system here in Oklahoma with regard to reading. I want to share something with you, and this is not very common of a politician to do, but I made a mistake. I am on the Education Committee, and I was very excited about the Mississippi Miracle Bill. But you know what we failed to do? We failed to talk to the teachers. And I know that because I've been making my way around this district, and I have probably talked to about 40 or 50 of them now that have told me third grade's too late. It's too late. We need to be doing this probably in the first or the second grade. So when you make a mistake, you strive to correct that mistake. As politicians, we're all susceptible to making mistakes, each and every one of us. So I'm not sure how I'm going to proceed with this, but we do have to test to see if they're going to be able to read or not. But I'm wondering if maybe we don't need to pull that back to maybe the second grade and make sure they're proficient at an earlier age where they should be proficient.
Thank you. Okay, Molly, you're going to get this one first. For the most part, the Oklahoma legislature has exempted itself from the provisions of the Oklahoma Open Meeting and Open Records Acts. Should the legislature be held to the same disclosure requirements as other public bodies in the state?
100% they should. Transparency is one of the biggest issues for me. Without question, we serve you and we should be accountable to you. I tell people that when I go to the door. I am accountable to you. Tell me how I can serve you better. So we should be. In fact, I will tell you a little story. We created a committee which was actually creating cover. I voted no for that committee. That committee just gave us a $7,400 pay raise when our state workers haven't had a pay raise, and that is wholly unacceptable. Therefore, every year, not this year, it's an election year, I'm not doing this as a gimmick, you can watch and see. Every year I will be donating that $7,400 to a different organization who needs the money. So for example, this year it will be going to Crossroads Clinic, which is a pregnancy crisis clinic that I used to volunteer at. At that clinic, what they do is an ultrasound, and then what they do is they will provide them with the things that they need, whether it's diapers, baby menstruation cups, who knows, but diapers, formula, etc. So this is something that is important, and if we're going to do things behind closed doors, I'm not playing.
Yeah, I would agree that transparency is a priority. It's one of the top priorities for me, and serving 9 years in Cushing on the City Commission, we've had to follow the open meetings record requirements in law, and school boards have to as well, and other organizations. So the purpose of that is to ensure transparency and ensure that public debate is happening in front of the public, because that's who we're accountable to at the end of the day. So it's never been a problem for me as a city commissioner and chairman of the Board of Commissioners in Cushing. If it's good for our municipalities and our school boards and other organizations, I think it would be good for the state legislature. And if there's reforms there that need to be made, I'd be an advocate in supporting those and ensuring more transparency, because that is, at the end of the day, what builds credibility with the voters and the citizens.
Thank you. Okay, BJ, this will be you first. Violence at schools, places of worship, elections offices, and other public locations has become a national crisis. What should we be doing in Oklahoma to address this problem?
Can you repeat the first part of that question?
Sure. Violence at schools, places of worship, elections offices, and other public locations has become a national crisis. What should we be doing in Oklahoma to address this problem?
Well, I think this isn't the answer anyone wants to hear, but it starts at home. It starts with families, and family values. And we've tried to raise our kids and our family and instill the values in them that will help them go out into the world and make it a better place and not a more violent or harsh place. So we need to support policies and a culture that focuses on family values and helping make our society better. So I think that's important, and maintaining that and supporting that and nurturing that, and having that in the back of your mind anytime you're faced with policy that affects our state and legislation. But at the same time, it is a violent world, and if we have resources for security to help mitigate those instances, I'm supportive of that. I'm strong on public safety. Being on the City Commission for the last 9 years in Cushing, I've realized that every time we make an investment in public safety, it makes our community safer. So if there's resources that we can use to increase public safety to help mitigate some of those concerns, while also supporting and nurturing and promoting family values, and that's the way to go.
Okay, Molly?
Thank you for the question. Some of you may have received an attack mailer on me that said I was just like Don Lemon, and I joke with people, and I'm nothing like Don Lemon. I was quite astounded by that. We have First Amendment rights in this state, so people should be able to protest outside of a church in the event that they want to. However, there have to be limits, and they have to be peaceful. Now, with that said, we already have trespass laws, and I truly believe in the state of Oklahoma, because I believe in Oklahomans, that what happened in Minnesota won't happen here, because we have great DAs who will press charges if somebody does something like that in this state. So we have to be very careful about balancing our right to free speech with the right of the people who are in a worship service or wherever they, happen to be. So I was quite shocked when they hit me on that, because I am very strong on free speech, and so I think we're doing really well here in Oklahoma.
Okay. All right, bear with me. This is a long one. And uses a word I would never say, but I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Okay. In 2000, Oklahoma voters created a lockbox to protect TSET funds from being accessed by the legislature. Since then, including this session, the legislature has repeatedly tried to get to the money. As recently as 2020, voters rejected an attempt to divert TSET funds to the state Medicaid program. Is the TSET board doing a good job, and should the legislature continue attempting to thwart the will of the voters?
The legislator should not try to thwart the will of the people. That is not right, and they should not be doing it. Lockbox means lockbox. I guess that goes back to a much earlier election from, I can't remember, Ronald Reagan maybe, was that where that came in? But I think that if the TSET money was set aside for TSET, that's what it remains for. When you set something up and you give your word, you need to honor that. So I don't believe we actually had any of those bills make it to the floor. Had they made it to the floor, I would have been a no. But as you all know, I vote no often, and that's because it's your money. You don't need more mandates or more regulations.
BJ?
Yes, I think the TSET initiative has been great for our state. It's helped a lot of municipalities and communities throughout the state with being more healthy and well-being and promoting those kinds of things within the community. It was set up in 2000, as you said, and it's part of the state constitution. To make changes to that, it would require another vote of the people. So we've already established that as part of the state constitution, it's protected. I think we should continue to protect it. I would be in favor of not dismantling it or not changing it, but leaving it as is and continuing to allow it to work within our state to promote the cancer research that it does, the health and well-being of our communities, and so I would not want to change it or alter it and make sure it stays protected.
Okay. BJ, this comes to you first. In a state legislature where both chambers have Republican supermajorities, is bipartisanship, or what some would call statesmanship, important?
Yeah, statesmanship and the ability to work with other people to get things accomplished is always important. That's the only way that I've been able to help move things forward in Cushing over the last 9 years, is working with other people that may think differently how to solve a problem than I do. And we may not always create a solution that I completely like or that the other side completely likes, but at the end of the day, if you remain accountable to the people you're serving and you're focused on what their goals and needs are, and you're working with someone else that has those same goals, you work with them to try to find results that impact people's lives in a positive way on a daily basis. And so to get results for the people you serve, you have to be willing to work with people. That does not mean you compromise on your values. You have values that are unwavering, and you follow those values, and they guide you in everything you do. But you have to be able to work with people at the end of the day to get results for the people you serve.
Molly?
We should have rigorous debate on the floor. We should always have rigorous debate on the floor. Unfortunately, I don't think we have enough rigorous debate on the floor. Sometimes we are asked to read over 100 bills in one night to be prepared for the floor the next day. I wish we weren't passing so many laws. We have way too many statutes right now. But in the event that we could dial that back a little bit, I always want to listen to what the Democrats have to say. Democrats, Republicans, it matters not. Independents, I want to make sure that we are creating the best laws that we possibly can for the people in the state of Oklahoma. Often the Democrats have some very fabulous ideas. And when they do, I will vote for them as long as they're constitutional. They don't have fees attached to them. They don't have mandates attached to them. I'm on board sometimes. And I think that's healthy, and I will always continue to work with the other side.
Okay. Last question. Molly, if you could change one thing to improve how elections are conducted in Oklahoma, what would it be?
I've run a very clean campaign, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of it. It takes a lot of hard work. I've made it around this district twice since last August. And I find that many people do not like all the negativity. They want to know what people are going to do for them. That's what they're after. So unfortunately, the half-truths that get spoken and put onto mailers and are said on television commercials, it's a real problem. It is a real problem. And I sincerely hope that everyone in this room will do their own homework. Look at the issues. Look those bills up when they come to your house and they're denigrating another candidate. Look them up and understand what they are. It's important because this is, you get the government you deserve, people. That's exactly how this works. You get the government you deserve. So be engaged. Be involved. Look those bills up. And I would also encourage you, last thing, to go to guardian.ok.gov, and you can also look at the money that's coming in for the different candidates. When you get to my page, you won't find lobbyist money.
BJ?
So I think the question was, what is one thing you would change about elections?
That's correct.
Okay, so the one thing that I would change if I had a magic wand about elections would be to have more engagement with the public about the differences from a policy perspective and how you would address issues if elected to be your state representative or whatever it is you're running for. We have a lot of people that are struggling to put food on their table, work hard for their families, go to work every day, take their kids to activities, and they're not engaged in the electoral process. We've knocked thousands of doors throughout the district during this campaign, trying to listen and learn what's important to them. And a lot of people will engage, but a lot of people have no idea what's going on. So just making sure that, that's why we've been intentional about trying to engage and trying to listen and trying to make those touches so that if elected and honored to represent the people of District 33, I'll be able to go and address those concerns. But having more engagement in the electoral process would be the one concise thing that I would like to see change.
Thank you. Okay, since Representative Jenkins went first during opening statements, Mayor Roberson will begin the closing statements. You have 90 seconds.
All right. Hey, it's been an honor to be with you here today. Thanks for having us here today to visit with you. Thank you, Molly, for the conversation. As you can see, there's a lot of problems that we need to address in our state. As I mentioned, I've been all over the district talking to thousands of people, listening, learning, seeing what is a priority to them. We hear cost of living. We hear education. We hear roads and infrastructure. We hear healthcare access. We hear public safety. All these things are concerns on people's mind, and they want someone that they can trust that can go to the Capitol and work with other people to have positive change that affects their daily lives. They are tired of the divisive campaigning. We've tried to maintain a positive campaign, and I feel like we've done so. If you look at the mailers that have come out, there's an angry tone on one, and there's not on the other. I have sincere humility. I've served in Cushing for 9 years, being accountable to the people I serve, and working with people to get results that impact people's daily lives through things that help them. And if elected to serve at the Capitol and go to serve District 33, I'm going to take that same approach to the Capitol, that same results-oriented, practical, accountable, responsive, engaged kind of approach to the Capitol. And I thank you for your time today.
Well,
Thank you sincerely for having me to your meeting. It is an honor to be here. It's an honor to discuss important issues with you. And I want you to know that I will continue working as hard as I have been working. I will continue to show up. I will continue to do my best not to miss a single vote. It's important to the people in this district that I am present and that I am working hard for you. So I think maybe the one thing I want to close with is the thing I opened with. I don't take lobbyist money. I work for you, each and every one of you. And when you have issues, when you have questions, I need you to reach out to me because I am more than happy to answer them. You know, one of the push cards that I sent out said, I kept my word. And it's so great to be able to come here and look each and every one of you in the eye and say, I kept my word. It feels good to do that. So I would be very honored to have your vote on June the 16th, and I certainly thank you for the time that you've provided to us as candidates today to speak candidly and frankly with you.
Thank you both for being here today. So I'm going to tell them how to vote, just in case they forgot. The election is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday, June 16th at your assigned polling location, with early voting 8 to 6 the prior Thursday and Friday, and 8 to 2 on Saturday. And just a reminder, it's at the Payne County Expo Center this time. The candidates will be available a few minutes if you want to ask them some questions after